Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Guys, today we're going to talk to a woman, a Jamaican woman living overseas, a mother of six. But she will tell you that life here in Jamaica prior to was something else less than perfect. She's going to share with us how falling in love turned to um, I don't want to say stalking, but he just wouldn't leave her. And when she thought she had gotten rid of him, who knew that miles across the world you would run right back in to your lover? Well, we are going to hear Veltareen's Tulloch Robinson's story. So, guys, stay tuned. It's going to be awesome.
Uniquely me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals in the name of Christ. Uniquely me is uniquely you. You can do anything. With the S on your chest, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You are a winner and you're an overcomer. You can be all things to Christ who gives you strength, yeah. You are a fighter, you're so determined. Uniquely me is uniquely you.
All right, welcome back to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart, guys. Thanks again for tuning in week after week. And guys, normally I'll tell you at the end to hit that subscribe button, but I think it's okay because you have come to trust us. So just go ahead, click that notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and tell somebody that Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart is happening. So help me welcome Veltareen Tulloch Robinson. Hey, Veltareen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so happy to have you on Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. I'm doing great. um,
Bless God.
Veltareen, you and I spent almost 2 hours the other night talking about your story. When I looked at how much time we had spent, I said, boy, we should have recorded then. But nevertheless, we are going to dig into your story. So, Veltareen, where are you from? Tell us a little about you.
Okay, I was born to parents Alan and Clarice Tulloch in Kingston, Jamaica, in the year 1955.
Mm, wow.
I was their third child, but the only one that lived. The other two previously had died.
Oh, wow.
So I was the first living child that they
Wow.
had.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
So
grew
I became
you grew up as an
I
only
became
child then?
daddy's girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
And where was that? Where in Jamaica was that?
Kingston, Whitfield Town,
Oh,
Maxfield Avenue.
oh, I see. I see. And then I saw that you were successful in your common entrance and you went to Excelsior High School.
Excelsior High School.
But
Yeah.
but while you were there at school, um, I don't remember, but you can help me. You became a teen mom. Is it that you did not graduate school or you got a chance to graduate? How did that go?
I went to school. In actuality, I got baptized during my second form year at Excelsior.
Mm-hmm.
I came to know the Lord and things was going along well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, teenage, you have your little teenage
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend, girlfriend thing.
Uh-huh.
But it so happens that this young man that I thought was my boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
he just disappeared overnight.
Disappear and gone where?
Disappeared overnight. Then I heard a couple months after, my friend said to me, say, you don't hear what happened? I'm like, what?
Uh-huh.
We don't hear what happened. I
What
said,
happened? What happened?
no.
What
She
happened?
said he had gotten married
Oh,
because he got someone pregnant and he had married the young lady. In all of this, now I guess I took it to heart and got myself now involved with my children's father, my husband, of
mhm.
38 years.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But and so at 38 years, and one will say, wow, what story could you really have about being with somebody for 38 years, because the fact that you stayed for 38 years, 6 children later, there could never be any problems. But you, I want you to share with us, what was your life like living,
It,
well, being with this man for 38 years?
it was very abusive, physically,
Mm-hmm.
mentally,
Mm-hmm.
you verbally, every type of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as if I couldn't see it or I couldn't, because I came from a home where I've never heard my parents have an argument.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this was strange to me, and I was hiding it from family and friends.
Right, right.
On the outside, I pretended that it was all hunky dory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Life was just great, but it wasn't.
What were some of the things you were going through?
Okay. One of the things that there's just so much to tell. I'm trying to figure out where to begin. But
Yeah.
one of the things that happened more than anything else that stood out
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, no matter where, when, what, is that I went to my younger brother's graduation from Parade Gardens
Mm-hmm.
school, culinary school.
Yeah.
And when I got home that night, he, as I got out of the taxi and paid the man and I was waiting for my change, he came home
Mm-hmm.
and saw me and I walked away from the car.
Mm-hmm.
Man, give me a beating.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "Look, me, I'm a man. Now I have all my kids with me.
Right.
I have 4 kids with me. That time I had 4 kids. I have 4 kids with me. Where could I have gone with a man with 4 kids?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he beat me, and it ended up. It didn't. It's not really that, It's not that I didn't try to help myself at times when we had, the fist battles. I helped myself
Right.
because he has some scars too. Because
Right.
I didn't just. He has some scars
Mm-hmm.
because he had some stitches in his forehead, in his chest. I helped myself.
Mm-hmm. I
But
want you, I want you to share with us about that
mhm,
incident, because you did share one with me where he decided he was gonna put some beating on you and you sent him to the hospital instead. Share that
yeah,
one with us. Tell,
yeah,
tell us
that
about it.
one, he come, say he's gonna put some beating on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, as I said, I helped myself.
Yeah.
And when he come and say, "Gonna beat me and whatever," I say, "Okay, come, I'm gonna die tonight," but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I had in Jamaica, you put the flowers with the sand in the vase so the breeze don't turn it over to make it
Right.
heavy.
Right.
And I took the vase, the flowers, the sand, everything, and emptied it in his forehead,
Mm-hmm.
sending it to the to UC to get some stitches. So the fight done and the fight cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cause and him wait a good while because him have to wait till him stitches heal and him thing and him no want me hurt it up again.
Right. Right. Right.
But and it went on, but I got satisfaction from knowing that I put an end to that beating that night.
Right.
Instead of me getting beat,
Mm-hmm.
he was he got damaged.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a good feeling for me,
Yes.
but it didn't last very long.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Why
didn't
not?
last long
Why not? Why not?
because after that, it's like the beatings intensified because he always tried to catch me in a place where I couldn't fight back
Wow.
because he knew that I was going to fight back and he didn't want to allow me to get the upper hand of him again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it intensified. So it was with this when that was after that incident
Mm-hmm.
that I went to my brother's graduation and he beat me.
Mm-hmm.
And when he beat me and he pulled out a knife and I said, "I'm not moving."
Mm-hmm.
And he cut me on my right arm. I have the scar.
Yeah.
Today's date to prove it. The scars are there, 32 stitches. When
Wow.
I went to the hospital, the doctor said to me, "Can you move your hand?" And I said, "Yes, I can." And I moved it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "It's a miracle
Yeah.
that you can move your hand
Right.
because the depth of the stitches had to be stitched both inside and outside."
Mm-hmm.
And it was in that time when they had a strike at Public and UC there, the doctors were on strike. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to wait till the next day to get it taken care of.
Wow.
And that even, intensified the pain and everything. But God knew that I had to have the use of my hands
Yes,
for what He had called me to do, to care for others.
yes, yes, yes.
He
I,
knew that, so He preserved it.
yes. I want to ask you something because the fact that you had to wait a
Mm.
day for it to be meant that you had to go back home with the cut and then come back to the hospital. Is that how it went?
No, I just sat there all day to the next day.
So in the midst of all of that, where was he? Did he come looking for you at the hospital? Where was he?
No, no,
Wow. When you got back
no.
home, and was he there when you got back home? You got the stitches. Was he there when you got back home?
I didn't go back there. I
Oh,
didn't go back home. I
okay.
didn't go back there. I
Mm,
went to my mother's
yeah.
house,
Yeah.
and I was there, and he came looking for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to speak to him, didn't want to see him, but for some reason my mother had this soft spot for him,
Mm-hmm.
and she think that him was just, let me say, a saint.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, because my lip light, she
Yeah.
says it's me. I am the one creating the problem
Uh,
and making the fuss. Because then it was then now that they were, you know, getting to become aware of what was happening, because all along I was hiding everything. I wouldn't let them know what
right.
was happening. You know, I just kept it
Let me ask
under
you something,
cover.
Veltareen. Why
Hmm.
why do you think a lot of our women who are in marriages or relationships that are abusive to the point where, like you said, for you, you got a cut and you were being beaten. Why do you think women hide it from the people who could possibly help them out of the situations? So like their big brother, their mother, why do you think they hide it?
It is twofold.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't want to hear "I told you so,"
Yes.
because sometimes parents, you know, caution us.
Mm-hmm.
They tell us that's not for you, that person is not for you. Your friends will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shame and the stigma that is going to come with all of what is happening to you
Yeah.
as a person. And sometimes because of pride.
Yes, 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 yes. I just want to stick up in here and I want to ask those who are watching, what's your take on it? Why do so many of our women and men, because we're discovering that men are also being
Being
abused.
abused too.
Yeah. Why do they keep it a secret? Why not speak out? And including possibly going to the police. And there are times when it goes to the police, but they will drop the charges. What says you? Why is that so? But let's get back. So, Veltareen, you were able to move out. And I remember you shared that you had built a place for yourself. And this gentleman, this abusive husband, that you thought you left behind showed up. Share with us what happened there when you show up at your door.
Oh my goodness. Well, I bought this house, everything was going good. But
Mhm.
before that, two kids came into my life. They weren't my kids. I grew them, took care of them, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, you send these two kids for me to take care of along with my four kids, and I don't even have it. But I am telling you, God made provision in abundance for me during that season.
Bless
It
God.
was just abundance. And I bought this house. Still have the house in Jamaica, not selling it, not doing anything with it,
Mhm.
because that is a reminder to me of God's provision.
Yes, 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 yes.
God's provision. That house is a reminder to me of God's provision.
Mhm.
And I was there, and his aunt and I, we kept in touch, his family, because, they weren't in agreement with his behavior.
Mhm.
And I told her, I bought a house, and anyway, I'm there one day, the man show up,
Mhm.
show up with bicycle and gifts for the kids and everything. Now the picking them happy, glad, jumping up and down, daddy, this, that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there and I'm like, what is this, dear God? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to burst their bubbles,
Yeah.
you know. And I grew up with mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted, in essence, to give my children that luxury in life,
Right.
growing up with both parents present in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he came and he was there and he was there. And I'm like, I don't want you in my life. I don't want you around. I don't want you. And he's like, oh, so things can change and we can make life together. And, so the picking them big and picking them by this time, my kids, all of them were in high school. All of the three of them got common entrance exam, one to Excelsior, one to Alpha, one to George's.
Mm-hmm.
All the kids were doing well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I, sometimes I must say that sometimes you talk things over with pastors
Yeah.
and they don't really give you good advice.
Mm.
Because they
Come
tell you,
on.
oh, that's your husband and him, can change, God can change. Yes. And I fell for it.
Mm. Wow, wow, wow.
And
Wow.
it was the same old story
Yeah.
all over again.
Wow. The abuse and everything all over again.
Everything all over again. How my mother is going to realize and understand what a devil him was. She
Yes.
came to the house one day and heard him
Mm-hmm.
telling me some dangerous things.
Yes, yes.
And she stood outside and she listened. And when she couldn't take it anymore, she started to pound on the door.
Right.
She started to pound on the door.
Mm-hmm.
And when she pounded on the door, he opened the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, Miss Tulloch. And she said, yes, me same one.
Mm-hmm.
She said, if you feel all this way about my child, leave her and go on.
Right.
All the things. Oh, what is she? She says, I was out here good 15 minutes listening,
Mm-hmm.
and now I know who the culprit is.
Yes, yes.
And that is what changed her perspective and her, you know, thoughts towards him, because then she realized when that it was him,
Mm-hmm.
was the aggressor in the relationship.
Yeah.
And it went on, and for that, everything died down that night. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to the beating stage that night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And everything, and it went on for a couple of months. And then this morning, Sunday morning, he started from the Saturday night. All night I didn't sleep.
Right.
Didn't And I said I wasn't going to church. So I got the kids ready, sent them off to church,
Mm-hmm.
and said I was gonna try to get some sleep. Old master jump up and start again because he wanted to get me out of the house so that he could take all the cash
Mm-hmm.
that I had there from the business I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as an ICI, they call it them time, informal commercial importer.
Right.
And he took all the cash I had and left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
want to say it was a good thing, even though he took all the cash and left me stranded.
Yes.
Because when I went to church that day, they asked me to exhort.
Mm-hmm.
And my topic was Isaiah 6:1. In the year that King Uzziah died, Isaiah saw the Lord high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. And I said, God, you gotta get me out of this situation. You gotta get rid of the Uzziah out of my life today.
Yes, yes, yes.
That was what I was praying, and I was saying, and I was telling the folks, exhorting the folks, that when you ask God to get rid of the Uzziahs, and the Uzziahs can be different things. It can be a person, it can be a habit, it can be, various things,
Yes.
that God will get rid of the Uzziahs out of your life. When I went home
Mm-hmm.
and I realized
Uzziah gone.
that the Uzziah left, it was joy unspeakable and
Right.
full of.
So
But
let me ask you something, Veltareen. Was when you had gotten, because I know you said you had gotten baptized in the early years and then you found
Mhm,
this man. Was
mhm.
he a Christian? when you got involved and got
Went to the
married?
church on the next road. Went to the church. I went to Three Burke Road. He went to Jordan Road Church.
Says,
Sing on the choir. When him sing, beautiful voice. Sing like a bird.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. And all of this time when things were going on, the abuse and stuff, was he still in church?
No, he
Okay,
stopped going.
okay, okay.
He stopped going.
So
So
Veltareen,
I was, after all of that, and I got married and everything, I went back to church.
yeah.
So that is what kept me
Mm-hmm.
and preserved me, preserved my sanity.
Amen.
Just knowing God and serving Him with all my heart. That's what preserved my and make me not go crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So Veltarine, I'm gonna fast forward a bit to you being overseas because he left. When you came
Yeah,
home, he
never
left,
came back.
he took the cash, he never came back. You
No.
just didn't know what happened to him. Finally, the Lord opened the door and you went overseas to make life better for you and your
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
And on this particular day, you ran. I don't remember if it's a case where you ran into him or he showed up at your door.
No.
What
I
happened?
went to Sears on Bedford Avenue to get some stuff for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Sears on Bedford Avenue and I was coming down, oh my God, coming down the escalator to after I'd purchased what I wanted and was in the kids department, I was coming out to come out. Who did I come face to face with?
Mm-hmm. Uzziah.
The Uzziah. And I and he was like, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I said, but I don't want to talk to you. And I tried to get away from him, but I couldn't. And then I walked from there on Beverly Road to Flatbush Avenue to get a bus.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the bus and when I went out there, I saw a policeman. And the policeman tell him to leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the policeman. The policeman told him to leave me alone and put me on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
That time I didn't even realize that he was driving.
Mm.
I thought he was on foot.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he rushed back, get his car, and know the bus that I had gone into
Mm-hmm.
and travel behind the bus, I guess, I don't know, or whatever, and watch me go home
Mm-hmm.
and watch me go into the building where I was living on Farragut Road.
Mm-hmm.
And sometime after that,
Mm-hmm.
one day my aunt Annie said to me, somebody at the door for you. I said, me? I said, nobody don't know I live here or anything. So, because, I keep it, on the low. I don't want nobody to know, so nobody would tell him anything.
Mm-hmm.
When I look, she said, but the person asked for Dell, because that's what they call me back home, Dell.
Right.
So that means the person know you well
Mm-hmm.
and know you good. The time she never didn't even, because it was in winter, so she didn't even realize it was him with his hat on and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come to the door now, listen, if the earth could have opened and take me in it, I would have been glad it
Yeah.
was him.
Mm-hmm.
And he would not leave me alone, would not leave me alone, not leave me, wouldn't leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I go, he was there. Every evening, every time, every time, every time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he said, oh, he was gonna go back to church, even get baptized over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Listen, girl. So I say, oh God, go back to this pastor again, him tell me the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if he keep, because he come to the church and him stay outside and him wait for me to leave and him want, and I will not pay him the mind. And then he says, people are talking.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down and talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the pastor said. So I sit down and talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting down and talking with him, worst thing I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Because him convinced me somehow, whatever, that he was changed.
Yes.
I said, okay. And I believed and I trusted, went back into a relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went back into the relationship with him, it started, it was not right away. It was like about 2 years into us being, and I figure, okay, fine. I
Mm-hmm.
guess he's really changed,
Yeah.
and it's better.
Yeah.
Like after 2 years, oh, the devil rears his ugly head again.
But that was when you had become pregnant again too. Is that so?
Yes.
Mm.
And it was real. And I was going to, at this time, I had gotten a prophecy before I left Jamaica. This lady, this pastor looked at me and said, I see, somehow I see you wearing white. And I see you on a plane. And I'm like, but I was before I left Jamaica. And I'm like, I don't have no intention of going anywhere. And me no know what me I go wear white after me no nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, when I came, I went to school. I was in nursing school.
Mm-hmm.
I was in nursing school and I was realized I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't afford to let this prophecy come to naught, because then I remembered the prophecy.
Yeah.
And I said, God, you know what you were saying, and it is true. And I was pregnant, going to school. He did nothing to aid it, in it. He made it even harder for me,
Right.
because I guess he felt that I was going to have my total independence now,
Right.
because I am now going to become a nurse, and you know
Mm-hmm.
anyway. And the man, my son, because I was pregnant, would my oldest son would take me to the subway in the nights, because I was working nights,
Mm-hmm.
going to school in the day, and pregnant all at the same time,
Right. Right.
because I had a goal and I was not going to slacken my riding, because I was going to reach my goal.
Of course. Yes,
I
girl.
was going to reach my goal.
Yes.
And I know it was God who gave me the strength to do all of this. I have to stop here and just give God thanks, because it was He who gave me the strength to work nights, go to school in the day, and be pregnant all at the same time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
was not sick, and did whatever was needed or required of me on the job and at school, got good grades, everything.
Yes. Yes.
And
God.
this night, my son took me to the subway and came back. When he came back, he was home already.
Mm.
Normally he's not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He my son, and he asked my son where he's coming from, and he said, nowhere. He said, what you mean nowhere? And him begin to beat the stuffing out of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now at this time my son was a teenager,
Right.
so he fought back, because he didn't see the reason why he was beating him.
Right. Right.
And he said that my son had to leave. He couldn't stay there, he couldn't what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when I came home next day, he was telling me, this boy fight me off, want fight me and kick me. But then my daughter said, but mommy, he didn't tell you that he was choking him to death. And I see him like his breath was stopping, and that's when he kicked him. He didn't kick him, just get up and kick him like that. It's
Right.
because he kicked him off for him to preserve his life. And
Right.
I said, really? That's what happened? I said, well, it's best for you to leave and my child leave. That is the case, because you're making everybody's life miserable.
Right. Because he's abusive.
And
Mm.
he said he's not leaving. We better leave. The man called the police for me. Called the police, called the cops, and told the cops that I'm here illegally. Remember, I'm making man him green card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's going to tell the police I'm here illegally, and he don't know me from and he saw me, and I was pregnant and didn't have anywhere to live, and he took me in. And then I brought my kids in, and now me and my kids want to beat him and put him out of his house.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you get out of that one?
So my daughter said, Daddy, you stay there and lying to the police
Mm-hmm.
and telling them this. And the officer said to her, is this your father? She said, yes, yes, yes. Let me show you. Let me show you our birth certificate.
Oh my God.
And the officer said, I should lock you up for public mischief.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, but she here illegally, I want her out. And the officer said to him, I'm not an immigration officer. If you know she's here illegally, call the immigration department, let them deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the officer left,
Right.
left, and she left. And I decided then and there
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna leave.
Yeah.
Didn't even have the money together, because that time the baby was just 3 months old.
But
I
Veltareen, we
ju-
want to we want to, because we know the story is quite a lot. But
yes.
after that, I want to
Mm-hmm.
again. I still want to fast forward, because after that, you
Mm-hmm.
ended up being pregnant again. But this
Yes.
time, it wasn't so much so a willing act. I want you to
No.
share with us what happened, because the man already come
Okay.
call police trying to put
Yes.
you, trying to get you deported for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got rid of him, and viewers, if you're watching, Veltareen has been trying to get rid of this man, and every time she tried to get rid of him, even halfway across the world, she ran
Well,
right back
she
into
was
her husband.
right back into it.
But here it is.
And
That, tell us what happened that you for this your sixth child with him.
I moved. I moved, and I I got some money. I borrowed some money from my daughter's godfather and his wife,
Mhm.
and I moved, and I got an apartment, and I moved, and God was so good. The man tell me I move on the middle of the month, and the man tell me, oh, I'm not going to collect the rent from the 15th. We'll just start it at the first of the month. So
Yeah,
God gave me 2 weeks free living.
awesome. Bless God.
2 weeks to live free and to get myself together. At the time I just graduated, got my nursing night license, and he put me through hell the night before I took the state board. I didn't get to sleep,
Yeah, yeah.
but I went with the grace of God, and God just took me through the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and I moved, and the kids were there, and he knew where the kids went to school and all of that. And he went one day with one of my sons
Mm-hmm.
and tell him he's gonna take him home. And when he took him home, he now found out where I was living.
Right,
And the kid, my son didn't even tell me that he took him home, because he just let him out and leave.
right, right, right.
And after that, no. So one day, I came home from work and was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And that was during the holidays when the kids were home, and he knew that they were home. So he come ring the bell,
Mm-hmm.
and they let him in. And I was sleeping. He
Mm-hmm.
came into the room.
Mm-hmm.
When I realized this man was already having sexual relations with me,
Right,
and
right.
I realized that I was pregnant.
Right, right.
And I
I do. I
swear
don't want you to leave.
blind.
I don't want you to leave at this point, because you did say what he did was to um force himself, covered your
Yeah,
mouth
but
so that there
cover
was
my
no
mouth so
scream.
I wouldn't make any noise, or anybody outside would hear
Here,
what's happening.
right.
And 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 after that, I was just so distraught.
Yes.
And then when I realized, a couple weeks after that, I realized that I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I swore I was going to have an abortion, because I didn't want this child. But
Yes.
I can tell you, I am so glad that I did not
Yes.
abort that child,
Yes. Yes.
because that child is special in
Yes.
so many different ways.
Mm.
This is a special child. I know it, because God spoke to me. I
Yes.
made the appointment to go to the doctor to have the abortion.
Yes.
I did I did. I know God, and I ask for forgiveness, but I am not ashamed to give my testimony in this area, so that somebody else will know that it is wrong. It
Yes.
is not right for us to take a life, and it is not right. And no matter how you get pregnant, or however you come by being with child,
Mhm.
God allowed it to happen, and God will take care of the situation.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Uh,
And
mhm.
when I was sleeping, because I had a 2 o'clock appointment, and I said I'm going to go to sleep and wake up 1 o'clock,
Mhm.
and then get ready and go to the appointment. During my sleep, I had a dream. God said to me, what did Joseph do when he was tempted to sin against me?
Mhm.
And I said, what? He didn't sin. He says, what did he say? And I told him. He said, how can I do this thing and sin against my God? And that was my cue, that I was going to sin against God if I aborted this child. And I woke up and weeping,
Yeah.
weeping,
Yeah.
weeping, weeping. And I just crawl off the bed and begin to pray and weep
Mm.
and ask God to forgive me.
Yeah.
And I say, God, now that you say I can't do this thing because it's a sin, yes,
Mhm.
I you have to take me through this pregnancy. You can't make me sick. You can't. And I start give God ultimatum as to what he can't let happen. You
Yes.
can't make me sick. You can't make me lose my job. You can't this. You can't that. And I have to get through this.
Yes.
And he did. He
Yes.
was true to his promise. Everything that I put on him, he
Yes.
delivered.
Amen.
Every single thing that I put on him, he delivered.
Amen.
He delivered.
Amen. How did you eventually, really and truly, get rid of your husband in terms of him not being in your space anymore, him not stalking you, him not showing up at your door? How did you eventually get rid of him?
Eventually, after when I had the child, and one day he just moved his stuff in, moved them in behind my back. I wasn't there, and he just moved them in.
Was
Because now, after I had this child, don't I can't laugh about it now.
Yes.
He just moved them in. I had this child, so now I was working in the daytime,
Mhm.
and I was doing other job, to balance everything
Right.
with the
Right.
kids. And he moved his stuff in. And all because I didn't want, I'm living in a new place. I don't want the people them to know. They see me going to church, and and everybody in the building respect me and all of that. And the landlord say, he always come and say, man, I just love how you grow your kids. And they're just so respectful. I will come and see all the other kids sitting on the stoop, and I never see any of your kids sitting there.
Right. Right.
And it was just, and I succumbed to it. Then
Mhm.
I bought, because I was working to save, and I saved, and I bought this house now, and I came here to live. And he
But was he
came.
helping you? I need to ask. The fact that he's
No,
moving in.
no, because it was no, because I didn't want to have anything to do with him. It was just that he was there, but the relationship was not there. He
You
was there.
It's funny because, the man just moved in, he's
He
constantly moving
move in,
himself right back
move in,
in.
move in, but no relationship. I want to tell you, the man moved in, and he even had um a TV that he had brought.
Mhm.
And I was watching the TV one day, and he came to change the channel, and I said, no, I'm watching something. Wait, I'm watching. And him take the TV and put it outside in the garbage.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes,
In your house, in your place that you found. He just took it
yes,
out. And he's staying in your place that you did not invite him
yes.
in.
Anyway, listen, God is so awesome. And they had a raffle on my job that same week.
Mhm.
$5 for the ticket. And I buy the ticket, and I win a TV big twice the size.
Oh, bless God.
You hear me? God just provide for me and show me
Yes.
that He's a provider.
Yeah.
And anyway, we moved to this house that I'm living in now, and I moved here. And he cursed me, cursed me, cursed me, cursed me, cursed me so bad.
Hmm.
And then he came and wanted to have a relationship with me. And I says, no. I says, you owe me an apology, and I'm not even into anything with you. And saints of God, women of God, women saved, unsaved. And
Yeah.
as I sit here, had it not been for the grace of God, I would not be alive today to tell the tales. That man put a gun to my head while I was asleep one night,
My God.
the 13th day of May,
Hmm.
1995.
Yes, yes, yes,
Hear me? The
yes.
13th day of May. I don't forget it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was sleeping, and I felt the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, open your eyes, but do not move.
Hmm.
And I opened my eyes, and I'm like, I'm dreaming, but I opened my eyes. When I opened my eyes, I saw his feet right at the foot of the bed
Right,
where I'm laying, right by the side of the bed where I'm laying.
right.
And when I saw his feet there, I just moved my eyes. And when I look up, so me, I looking at the gun.
Mm. Wow.
I'm looking in the gun.
Yes.
And I will not tell you that I got up off the bed. I can't tell you if I come off of the bed feet first, head first, whatever first. I don't know. but
Right.
I know that I gained supernatural strength.
Right.
And I got up out of the bed through the Holy Spirit empowering me, and I grab him
Yes. Yes.
and I say, kill you come to kill me? But God said no. And he pushed me down on the bed and ran out of the room.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And he ran.
Mm-hmm.
When I took up the phone to call the cops,
Mm-hmm.
the phone was dead because he took the phone downstairs off the hook.
Wow. Where were the children in all of this?
They were in their rooms.
Wow.
And when I screamed, the
Mm-hmm.
kids came. The boys, I think the boys were in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
The boys were in the basement and the girls were in the bed in their bedroom. And the kids came and he ran and went away. But they got caught in the next day.
Right.
And
Right.
I had an order of protection, all of those things, and that was the end of it.
Right.
Because he went to jail, and me in my stupidity still went to court and begged for him. Tell
Mm,
him it's the father of my children, give him probation, whatever.
yeah. But
And
it didn't end
I
there.
wouldn't even say it's stupidity. It is because I have never really learned how to bear grudges, hold grudges.
Right.
I'm upset with you for the moment, but after the moment is gone and I have, tell you what I think or how I feel, I'm done with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is me. And and his friends were saying, came and begging and what have you. And I went to court and I spoke on his behalf, and they gave him probation.
I'm tempted to be angry a little bit because they
Mm-hmm.
knew that he would have, I would want to think that they would have known why he's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
He's there simply because
Mm-hmm.
he came in,
Mm-hmm.
actually held you up with a gun. And so they're
Mm-hmm.
coming, and most persons would have known about the abuse, yet they're coming
Yeah.
to ask you to go and ensure that this person does not go to jail.
Yeah.
But all things being well, we want to wrap up that aspect of your life because
Yeah.
he got sick and stuff. And one
Mm-hmm.
would have thought that after
Mm-hmm.
all you have been through with this man, you would have been done with him, especially after that gun incident. You would have been done and stuff, but you were not done. You saw this man through right to the end. Tell us, what did
Yeah.
you do?
Yes. He took sick, and where he was living, they had because he was in the hospital for months. One Monday, I was going to fasting. And the Lord said to me, you have to go and pray for him. And I'm like, me not gonna away. He said,
Mm-hmm.
make him stand there for dead. The
Mm-hmm.
Lord said,
Yes.
I heard sternly, go and pray for him.
Yeah.
Because he was bleeding and they didn't know where the blood was coming from. They couldn't really decipher where it was coming from.
Yeah.
And he was bleeding and they gave him blood, it just bleeded back out. And
Mm-hmm.
I went there, and when I went, I said, God, if I go pray for him. Let me tell you something. Me need to go a fasting. Okay? And and if me have to drive, if me no find a parking, me not stop.
Mm-hmm.
And if me I me not go in the garage go pay for no parking, cause me not spend my money. And I start to tell God all the what me not do and what me not do. As I'm going up the street to go to Kings County, there was this man with the van, same van like mine, parked some right there,
Mm-hmm.
just about two van spaces from Clarkson Avenue. And as I'm coming up, the man just moved out, and I just went right into the space. I went inside the hospital. It wasn't even visiting time.
Right.
I went in there, and when I went to the security desk, the security guard said, okay, miss, you could go ahead. Just and I said, okay, God, all right, this is you. And I went, and when I went, he said to me, oh, you come look for me, miss? Me not expect to see you. I said, well, I said, God tell me to come and pray for you, and that's all I'm coming to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when I stood there to pray for him, the Holy Spirit tell me, put your hand right on his left side, right by where his kidney, right there in the back, in his
Right.
back. And I placed my hand there,
Mm-hmm.
and I prayed for him, and I prayed, and I prayed, and I left, wash my hand, wash off my hand, because all my hand had blood on it.
Mm.
Because that's how he was bleeding out in the place.
Yeah.
And I washed my hands and I said bye
Yeah.
and I left.
Yes.
And after I left, when I was after fasting, and the doctor, even after the doctor called me, and the
Mm.
doctor called me and said, he said after they're going to take him into surgery now because they did an X-ray and the blood just dried up, so he could get the surgery, and they
Okay.
wouldn't hesitate, and he had the surgery. Re the resection his intestines
Mm-hmm.
and what have you they needed to do. And I said, okay, God, that's it. But then it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It happens that we were not together for 20 years now.
Mm-hmm.
In 2015,
Mm-hmm.
I got married.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay.
And funny enough, to the same man where did leave me, I'm gonna get married.
Okay. Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And I got married. And when
Mm-hmm.
I got married, 3 weeks after I got married, he decided to say, go and kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He took, that is after I take him and take care of him in his sickness, you know. I
Right.
took him home because he was in the hospital for so long. They put out his things on the street. When him go back, there was nothing because they say he didn't come back there for how many months. They
Mm-hmm.
throw out the stuff, whatever. He had nowhere to go. And I took him in and gave him
Right.
place to live.
And we want to establish now that by this time, this was roughly 20 years now, you had finally gotten rid of him
Yes,
in a sense,
yes, yes. We weren't,
divorced, and
yes,
you had
yes,
remarried. Yet
yes,
your kindness to him extended
yes,
because you
yes,
went, no, you took him in.
yes,
Right. So 3 weeks
yes.
in now after you're married,
Married.
you've helped to take care of him. What happened?
He punctured, my husband had bought me a brand new car. He punctured the tire on the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I called the cops and they came. And when the cops came, him farm sick.
Yeah.
And the cops say they're gonna arrest him, but him saying him sick, him need to go to the hospital. Knowing that him have heart problem, I tell them, leave him alone, take him to the hospital. And one of the police officers said to me, say, woman, what's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with you? Something is wrong. I said, no, nothing is wrong with me. He's sick. And I know he has a heart problem and all of that. Take him to the hospital.
Right.
And they took him to the hospital. But this was his way of not going to jail. And
Mm.
they took him to the hospital and him signed himself out the next day because him
Okay.
saying was going to kill me.
Wow.
And the next day, he took my daughter's car and
Mm-hmm.
him punctured the tires on the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't drive. I
Right.
had to get them off to
Right.
fix. And I was walking to meet my son, who
Mm-hmm.
was gonna take me, because that time I was doing a course to get my BS at Medgar Evers College.
Right.
And he drive the car and hit the car, come on the sidewalk and hit me and run over me.
Oh my
See the
God.
side of, right the side of my head where you see hardly any hair, it's just growing back.
Right.
Right, the whole of here was gone. The
Wow.
whole of here was gone. But for the grace of God. And as I lay on the ground, and he, I, and I laid there, I said, God, you can't let me die like this and the enemy win. You got to cover me, God, cover me. And
Mm.
I heard a man beside me said, lady, when I tried to get up to run, because I saw him coming again with the car,
Right.
I tried to get up to run again, to run. The man said, lady, I got you covered.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that was him speaking in God's behalf to let me know that I was covered by God. And this lady, I heard her say, you hit her and you ran her over and you're coming to run her over. You want to make sure she died. You gotta run me over first.
Yeah.
And he reversed the car and drove away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is how, to today's date, nobody knows the two people who were there. And I know that it was angels who
Right.
came to cover me.
Right. Right.
I had both pelvis fractured, couldn't walk. in the hospital for months, had to be log rolled
Yes.
and all of that. Couldn't for months, couldn't do anything for myself, couldn't sit up, couldn't do anything for myself. But by the grace of God, my
Amen.
head was this big. The doctors were in amazement. How is it that I was still conscious after all of this?
Yes.
And my memory was intact. I wasn't speaking foolish gibberish,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
but for the grace of Almighty God.
You know,
And
Veltareen,
I was
looking at you.
angry.
Mhm. Yes.
I was angry. I was even, to be honest, I was, I had some choice words for God. I say, God,
Mm-hmm.
look how long me there. Me alone, and me not have no man, me not have no body. And as me married, this is what you caused to happen to me.
Yeah.
Why did you let me marry?
Yes.
You know? And I was angry.
Yes.
And then I had this dream that my mother came and she said to me, say, the man upstairs says he's going to take care of everything by the 15th of the month. Everything will be taken care of. And
Right.
I'm like, what? She says, the man upstairs. I said, which man upstairs? She said, the man. And she took her hand and pointed it to the sky and said, the man upstairs. And I said, okay, God says. And I wrote it down. I grabbed my book, my dream book, the morning when I woke up, and I wrote it down, and I called this friend of mine. When I have dreams and visions, I always call and I say, I'm telling you this because God gave me this word. So when it comes to pass, you'll be a witness. I
Mm-hmm.
always do that. And I told it to her. And she says, well, you'll wait and see for the 15th of the month what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited on God. But before that, when I was in the hospital and pain was racking my body and I couldn't stand the pain anymore. And I said, God, I can't take this pain. You got to take the pain away from me. And I cried until I fell asleep. And the Lord spoke to me and said, your healing is predicated upon your forgiving him.
Mm. Wow.
And I woke up and I'm like, God,
Mm-hmm.
forgive this man.
But by this time, when you're being asked to forgive him, you're in hospital. Was he locked up? Did they lock him up?
Yes, he was arrested. He
Okay.
was in jail. He was
Right.
in jail. He
Mm-hmm.
was in jail, you know. And I was glad that the police caught him because my kids, the boys,
Yes.
they swore blind they was gonna kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were, they said no, him can't live. Not mommy, mommy. My son said, mommy, mommy,
Mm-hmm.
mommy.
Mm.
That's all he was saying in the hospital the day when he came,
Yeah.
because that's the one that I was going to meet. He said, mommy,
Mm.
mommy.
And this is in 2015.
Yes, 2015.
Yeah.
And he was arrested, and I'm glad that the police caught him before they did, because I didn't want any blood stain
Yeah.
on my children's hands. And
So you're happy
anyway,
where the Lord said yes. The Lord said, your
and
healing is
and
being.
I tussled with it, and I said, okay, God, all right, because I need to walk again.
Yeah.
And I told God, the first day I get up out of this bed,
Mm-hmm.
I stand up, I must walk.
Yes.
And he honored that request because I obeyed his commands.
Bless God.
And when, yes, and I obeyed his commands, and I had forgiveness in my heart, and I forgave him, and I came out of the hospital. And the first day I stood up, I walked, and it was like chaos,
Yeah.
crying, the therapist crying, everybody, they have never seen this before in their life. And I said, it's all God. And I can never forget. And when I stood up and I began to walk,
Mm-hmm.
I was walking with a walker nonetheless, but I was walking.
Right.
Nobody didn't, have to hold me or anything. I remember I began to sing this song. But I know better. It's all God. But I know better. It's all God. Because I know it was not any of them and them physical therapy and them OT. It had nothing to do with them. It was all God.
Yes.
And I knew, and that was what came out of my mouth, that song. But I know better.
Yes.
It's all.
Yes.
And I give God thanks today that I, it's not not really that I wanted to have that experience of being broken and battered and bruised, but it is that I am
Yes.
able to help somebody along the way and let them know no matter what you've been through,
Yeah.
God never leaves you, He never forsakes you. Even when we have walked outside of His will, even when we have stepped away from Him,
Mm.
He's not a God that leaves us alone. He's always there giving us little reminders that He is well able and that He is our God.
Ah,
And I just want to say that He did pass away on
yes.
the 30th of that same month.
Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I did everything for his burial and stuff
Yes.
and did whatever it was to put him away decently
Yeah.
because God let me know that I had to forgive. And if I did not, then he would not be able to bless me. And it is that blessing
Yeah.
and that obedience that I'm living and walking in today because I know better.
Yeah.
It's all God.
Ah, bless God. Oh, I don't know if it's oh, was it after that that you wrote your book, Broken
Yes,
to Be Made Whole?
yes.
Um,
I after that I wrote the book, Broken to be Made Whole.
yes. Wow.
Broken to be made whole. Because
Wow.
I was broken. But
Yes.
through all of that, God made me whole because He made me to see all the things that were in me that need to come out. I need to forgive and all of that. And I have been strengthened in God
Yeah.
in that I have been made whole because the potter wants to put us back
Together
together again.
again. I want to tell you how proud I am of you. I'm honoring you because Veltareen, not many of us women would have gone through what you have gone through and extended the level of kindness that you extended to your abuser all the way to his
Mhm.
death, all
Yeah.
the way.
Mhm.
You allow the Lord's forgiveness and love to have
Yes.
captured your heart and guided your actions. And I want to
Mhm.
honor you, woman of God. Where can persons
Be the
find your
glory.
book? Is this book all about your story? Where can it be found?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Yes.
It's on Amazon.
Yes, broken to be made whole. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, you would have heard Veltareen's story. I want you to get this woman's book. Look at her. You know, she's literally no chicken, right? But she has a story. And you would never imagine that, she would have gone through the abuse. Um, and all along the way, she kept, I don't know, must have been God setting her up. The man kept coming back even after
Yeah.
he pick her up, she wake up and see the man have gun her head. She still
Yeah.
back a court go beg for him. The man got
Yeah.
sick in the hospital. She went and she prayed for him. She took him back and she took care of him. And then the man took a car and run her over. And after
It's
that,
all God.
she still
Mhm.
went ahead after he died. She went and she ensured that he got a proper burial. This woman needs to be honored, and how we are going to honor her is make a purchase of her book, Broken to be Made Whole, because the potter wants to put us back together again, by Veltareen Tulloch Robinson. Get that book, guys. I'm going to make sure the link is in the description box. Veltareen, before we wrap up, I want you to give a special message to our young ladies, because many of them, we didn't talk about your daughter who came up after you sent for them, who came up pregnant, and so both you
Pregnant.
and her were pregnant in the house. But we don't have enough time to get into that.
Huh.
But
Mhm.
what I want you to do is to share a message here, for our women that are going through these situations. We're filming in March, which is
Mhm.
International Women's Month,
Month.
say,
Mhm.
and the theme this year is breaking the bias. What
Yeah.
do we say to our women that are allowing themselves to go through these unfortunate situations and are allowing them to be victims? What do you say to them? Because you came out of it. Look at you. You're walking, talking, you look beautiful. You're an author. Um,
Yes.
what do you say to these women?
Listen, I want to say to them that they're women of purpose.
Yes.
And as a woman of purpose, you have to arise out of the ashes. No
Mm,
matter what life has given to you. If it gives you lemons,
yes.
make lemonade.
Come on.
And whatever life has given to you, you can turn it around. And every mess becomes a message.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Every mess that you find yourself in becomes a message. And don't be afraid to verbalize what you're going through, but just choose wisely the people who you verbalize it to.
Yes.
Because sometimes you verbalize it to the wrong people.
Yes.
But make sure you choose wisely who you verbalize it to. Verbalize the situations that you're in to
Mhm.
people or persons who are able to assist you and help you. They give you strength, moral strength, and will give you moral fortitude
Mhm.
and will give you emotional support to get out of the situation.
Wow.
And first thing, first and foremost, put God at the forefront of your life.
Yes.
Because if He is first and foremost, no matter what, no matter how dark or deep the dungeon,
Yes.
He'll take you out of it and
Yes.
He'll bring you out and He'll make you as pure gold and the vessel of honor He will make you to be because He is the main, and He's the perfect potter.
Mm.
And He will break you and mold you over and over again until He gets you to be that beautiful vessel that He wants you to be.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Veltareen. This was such a pleasure.
A
Boy, I'm
pleasure for
telling
me
you,
too,
I
and I
thank God.
thank you for having me.
You are welcome. You are so welcome. I'm thanking God for this platform because I'm getting to meet so many fabulous women. And I mean, the stories, but to see how God takes you guys through and fix you guys up and, the power of endurance or the spirit of endurance that God has
Mhm.
given to each of you women that have been through trauma and are triumphing and thriving. I just really bless God. Uh,
Yes, and if you see me walking, you wouldn't believe it.
oh my God.
You wouldn't believe how many broken, and I have metal in my body, but to God be the glory.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
alive and well
yes.
and doing God's will.
Awesome, awesome. One of these days I need to have this big conference where all of
Yes,
you women get a chance to
yes.
come and we get to meet.
I want to tell you, I'm working on having something like that.
Yes, wow. Well, you just send the invitation. I'm ready.
I'm working on having something like that, and the Lord has placed in my heart and in my spirit that I need to write a book about the men in my life.
Yes, wow. Go girl. Awesome, awesome.
Bless
Well, Valterine, it's such a pleasure, as I said. Thanks for coming and thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
it's a pleasure for me.
Yes.
It's more than a pleasure. It's an honor for me to be on your program. And I just want to give God thanks for you. And I pray that the Lord will continue to give you the vision and will give you and the provision because He always makes provision for the vision. No
Yes.
matter how it seems that there is no provision, He makes it out of nowhere. And because of this medium, other women will be helped. They will be strengthened. They will get the courage to rise up,
Yes. Yes.
to
Yes.
rise up and shine.
Wow.
And they will know that their purpose will be fulfilled. And as you walk in your purpose, I ask that the Lord will continue to give you the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding that you need to do His divine will. And whatever
Mm.
situation that may come, that nothing will deter the plan of God for your life. And I declare it and I decree it to be so. And it is well with your soul. And it is well with everything that you put your hands to.
Thank you,
It
Jesus.
will prosper. Everything, not only some things, but everything, because He's going to enlarge your borders as He did Jabez. You
Mm.
will just take the prayer of Jabez unto yourself this day and just say it. Lord God, enlarge my borders because He's going to enlarge your borders and your name will be known and will be renowned. And when you, even after you have gone on, your name will still be a household name on the lips of women who you have helped, who you have assisted, who you have shown and have taught them how to be women. And I mean true women and vessels of God that he can use, and continue to let the Lord use you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much for that, Veltareen. Thank you so much for that. That was, as a matter of fact, part of what you just said was an answer to a prayer that I have been praying to the Lord. So thank you so much for that. The Lord bless you.
Amen.
Awesome.
Lord bless you too. God bless.
Thank
And
you.
we will be in touch and we will be talking from time to time.
For sure, for sure.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it for yourself. What can we say? I mean, when you saw Veltareen at first, what came to your mind? Did you think that this woman was coming out with such a story? I mean, I've heard it. This is my second time hearing her story, and it never gets stale. It still feels fresh, and I'm still glorifying God for the victories and the way he has worked things out in her life. I'd like to hear from you. How did this particular episode, how did it impact you? Do you know a woman who's going through this, who's going through abuse, who has been physically, emotionally, every kind of alley abused by her spouse? Please, let's hear about it. And guys, what do you think? What more can we be doing to help women like these, help them to break the bias, help our women to overcome the domestic abuse that they are enduring? Let's know, let's talk, all right? So guys, thank you. Looking forward to seeing you again next week with another unique story. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. And guys, go on over to Instagram. I'm over there on Uniquely Me TV talk show, or God's Daily Portion, or just put in my name, Simone Stewart. You'll see me over there. So make sure you're following, but don't forget to subscribe right here. All right, guys, that's it from me. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Uniquely me is uniquely you.
Hi, guys. I thought I would share with you, for those of you looking for a Christmas gift or a New Year gift or a birthday gift, for that woman, that strong woman in your life, to offer the Uniquely Me Planner. Now, what can you find in the Uniquely Me Planner? You can find pages to write for each month. You have pages to write your goals, and we set it up so that those goals are smart, right? As you know, your goals need to be smart. So we have the specific, the measurable, the attainable, the relevant, and we put them in blocks so that you are able to fill them in accordingly. Also, you will find a daily to-do list, as well as for each day, if you need to put your calendar, what your calendar items will be, you have that as well. There's also a habit tracker, guys, or as well as a quote. There is a list for you to put what are your list of priorities in terms of things to be done. And of course, guys, we have pages and pages of that. We give you blank pages as well. So this is also, it is your diary, it's your planner, it's your time management tool is what I would call it. I want to encourage women who are creatives, women who are executives out there as well. You are trying to find a way to be productive. Here is your tool. And so guys, it's on Amazon. Just put in Uniquely Me Planner, or you can put in Simone Stewart and grab a copy of my Uniquely Me Planner. Guys, remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you. Get your copy today.
Uniquely me is uniquely you.
Who am I really? Choices, choices, choices. In pursuit of a career? OMG, I'm a wife. Help, I am a mother. Oh, I'm in church. When do I get to be a woman that God called me to be? Uniquely Me covers the acrobatic endeavors of every woman to balance the responsibilities of being a mother, a wife, a professional, a church leader, a friend, yet still maintain her identity. I too am a mother, a wife, a trained minister of religion, a banker, an entrepreneur trying to balance the many hats that signifies my role. My book will help motivate and empower every woman who is really unique in her own way. Grab your copy today on Amazon, because Uniquely Me is uniquely you.
Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, uniquely me is uniquely you.